Weller.
You know how many times I've fucking heard in the store, do you got any Weller?
Don't mess with Texas. Cause you know everybody around this bitch got guns, nigga. Hey, see, I'm from Texas.
You got any Buffalo Trace? You're like, nope, nope, and nope. So we're doing this just for fun. Just because, so here's an interesting fact. Depending where you live, this stuff is starting to become findable.
For a long time it wasn't, which is ridiculous because it is a
Screw top.
It's a screw top.
So if people aren't familiar, so Weller is a Buffalo Trace product, right? So
And if you don't know who Buffalo Trace is, get out of the house.
They make fucking all the best shit,
They make
or a lot of it.
Then always good.
So Weller, the whole Weller line is a wheated bourbon, meaning that there's corn, there's wheat, and then there's malted barley. So there's no rye in any of the Weller products.
It's very soft,
Okay.
it's very sweet. It's the same
Correct.
style as what Maker's Mark is.
Kinda, yeah.
Kind of, they use different wheat.
Probably use different wheats,
But
absolutely.
for the laity, you could compare Maker's Mark and Weller and be in the same.
It's in the same family.
Yeah,
Let's
same.
put it that way. So
That's
it's
from the same cloth.
It's the same family. Now, back in the day, all the Wellers, and we'll go over more, but they've got more Wellers. Antique 107, CYPV,
They got 12
12-year, and then there's a foolproof offering as well. So back in the day, before people lost their shit, this stuff was just sitting on the shelves, hence the screw cap.
Yeah, because
Right?
Because all things considered, it's closer to Benchmark.
It's the same idea, right? It's the same kind of
Benchmark
idea.
is also a Buffalo Trace product.
Correct. Yeah, we don't really have any now.
No, we drank it all.
We drink it all. But yeah, so Weller was just the Buffalo Trace wheated line. It was their entry-level line.
It is a budget offering.
It was. And then
It should be.
with the whiskey boom, people started drinking it, and anything Buffalo Trace, people lost their shit over.
Which also extended to Weller, which people started doing somersaults to get.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And at the store, we would get it in a couple times a year, and people would buy it up.
Why was it so hard to come by? Is it just because they didn't have enough to produce?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a couple things,
A little
right?
bit of marketing. I'm
It's
sure.
a little bit too much people losing their minds for something that.
Why do they lose their minds over Weller?
Because from Buffalo Trace.
That's a
That's it. And it's decent. Like,
Yeah, of
it's
course.
not bad. Like, I'm going to try it right now because I haven't had it in forever.
it's fine.
But it's just a little 90 proof, decent, wheated bourbon, nothing crazy.
Right? It's fine.
It's got that soft wheat that you get on the palate. There's not a whole lot going on. It's not like you get the weediness. You get a little bit of red fruit, but nothing crazy.
Not
Right?
like this way. It's not like Ben Holliday's soft red wheat
Sure.
offering, even when it's proofed down. It has quite a bit going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where, like I said, once again, this was never intended
To be
to be super complex. It was never intended to be hard to find. This was just their.
I need an weeded whiskey.
This is
and I
just
need it now.
their intro weeded bourbon.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, it's the equivalent of Benchmark. Benchmark is the bottom shelf offering, but it's good. It's
Yeah.
it's right down the middle. It's fine.
Yeah, I would say like the Weller line is probably like one step up from there. So I would compare like the Weller to just like your standard Buffalo Trace.
That
Like
makes
it's
sense.
just it's $25, $35. It just sits on the shelves. It's like, hey, welcome to Buffalo Trace. This is what we do.
Here's what we got. If you want the really high end offering and you have a couple
Well-
$100 to spend, and you buy the WLW.
And that's what I was gonna say is, in the Weller line, it's basically it was intended to show you what they can do with wheated bourbons, and then at the pinnacle is William LaRue Weller, which is part of the BTAC, the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. Comes out once a year.
Compared to the wine world, Duckhorn has Decoy, which is like their reject barrels. It's a
Sure.
budget offering.
Sure.
It's a good bottle of wine, but it doesn't compare to
Right,
Duckhorn.
right. Yeah, so I mean, you can.
Which makes sense because a Duckhorn bottle of wine costs a smooth $80.
Right. And you can imagine in the whiskey world when you've got thousands upon thousands of barrels, a lot of those barrels aren't going to make the cut for their,
For the BTAC.
for their high end, WLW. So what do you do with them, right? You come up with a line like this.
Weller.
Yep, and the green label is just their standard special reserve. It's just their standard one. They make a antique 107,
Which has a cork.
Yep, because that's supposed to be a little bit
Nicer.
It bumps the proof up to 107 proof.
Oh, so it should be added that it doesn't, like in terms of storing the whiskey, it doesn't really matter if it's a screw top.
No, not at all. No, and 9 times out of 10, as long as you don't mess up, and this is a good lesson to learn between corks and screw tops. Just because you see a screw top doesn't mean the whiskey's crap.
No.
Right. And in my world, I actually sometimes prefer them because when you have a normal bottle of whiskey, if that cork gets a little bit dry, it'll shrink, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it shrinks, what does that do? It allows air, right? So that's why every 6 months, every year, you go around and you wet the cork just to make sure that it's still, just so that it's not shrinking. These are great because you don't have to do that. You just put the top back on and you can forget about it.
Now, of course, you got problems if you strip it.
Well, or if you bend it or whatever, so then it becomes a little bit of a pain. But
that aside, the screw top is less expensive. It doesn't.
It should be.
It's not as cool.
Sure, but with the special reserve, the green label, then you got the red label, the antique 107, and then you got they do the full proof offering. They do a 12-year,
Mm-hmm.
which
if memory serves, the 12-year has a screw cap too.
Yeah, it does. As a matter of fact, it does, which is pretty crazy.
Well, that makes sense because even in old bottles of whiskey, you're going to have variances in quality. That's probably the rejected bottles from WLW.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, because I don't know, I don't know off the top of my head how old the William LaRue Weller is. I don't know how those barrels are, but still, they're all good. For most people, believe it or not, most people, the 107 is their favorites.
Really?
Yeah, for most of the people that I've seen. It's just fine.
It's nice.
It's fine. And
how much were people spending on secondary for this?
So this is a funny story. So I saw this shit in Vegas.
Yeah. At those chain liquor stores.
Yeah, there was one down the street. I forget what it was called.
Liquor World?
Is that what it was?
Or was it the gas station?
No, it wasn't a gas station. It doesn't freaking matter, right?
Random liquor store number 4.
Right. A chain in Vegas, right? So it's right around the holidays. They got some Pappy Van Winkle in, right? All that. Of course
And that cost $1 million.
They marked it up to like $6,000 or whatever.
Let me get right on that.
So they had gotten the whole, just the vertical of this. So the green, the 107. I don't think they had the CYPB.
Definitely not.
But they had the full proof and the 12-year. This green label started at, I think it was $200. And then every bottle went up $100.
How much is it retail?
I think the green labels, it might be, around here, it might be $30, $35. It might be. That might be being generous, right? Now, and so here's the thing.
So much money.
So I think I mentioned this before. So when I was working at the store, I had the Buffalo Trace rep in the store, and we were talking, and he assured me, this is last fall, so 2024 in the fall, he's like, our production is, we're good. All of our barrels are starting to get to where they need to. You're going to start to see Buffalo Trace and Weller products back on the shelves, right? And I didn't believe him, but I told everybody because everybody comes in looking for Weller Buffalo Trace, right? So I have noticed though, especially the last few months, I'm seeing, at least in Central Texas, I'm seeing more and more of the green label, the special reserve. And I'm seeing a little bit more of just regular Buffalo Trace as well.
Well, it goes to show, my darling aunt, she found that bottle of Buffalo Trace while at the Costco?
Down in San Antonio. Yeah, so depending where you're at in Texas at least, I know in California, Buffalo Trace is everywhere. Vegas, Buffalo Trace is everywhere. And I think as this stuff starts to come back and hit and sit on the shelves and it's just more available, I think people aren't going to freak the hell out as much as they did where it hit the shelves and we're like, oh, I have to buy it.
Everyone buys it.
Right, where now I'm seeing them on the shelves, so people are coming in looking at it going, oh, cool, I've got a bottle or two at home. I'll leave it for the next guy.
Yeah.
So you're starting to see that where things are sitting more.
It's returning to its proper place as an intro bottle.
Yeah.
Not BTAC light, you know?
Yeah, and I think for most people, and I say for most people, but for most people, once you get into bourbon, you know, you're hunting all the shit that everybody else is posting on their
Posted on the Facebook groups.
Yeah. And you know, at that point, it's, you know, who swings a bigger, you know what? And you're like, oh, I got this. I'm like, good for fucking you, right? But at the end of the day, once you kind of get this stuff and you drink it, and you're like, oh, that's decent. But then you realize, oh, there's other weeded bourbons out there that are just sitting on the shelves that I can buy, and they're delicious, right? And so the people are still going to go nuts for this stuff because it's Weller, and they're we call them taters. You know, they're taters. They're gonna buy every bottle of Blanton's. You know, going to buy every bottle of Weller that they see. But I think for a lot of people, you know, it's good to have in your bar, in your room, in your inventory. But I never understood people that would go out of their way and pay secondary prices for it. That just didn't make sense to me. But
I think it's a lot of getting caught up in the hype.
Yeah, the what I call it, the Pokemon for adults.
Yes, so they call it Pokemon for adults.
Yeah.
Pokemon trading cards for adults.
But I'm not crapping on it.
It's good. It's fine.
Because it's a good product. But
like we were talking about this in the last episode. This is a 5 out of 10. It's like straight down the middle. Maybe even like a 4, where it's just, you know, it's fine. It's a little low proof. There's not a lot going on.
There's not.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But for $30, it's like, cool. I don't care.
And this is one like for MSRP, right? And then what's in the bottle?
Yeah.
It's a good value.
Yeah, it's properly priced.
And it's a decent weeded bourbon.
Now we're starting at $200.
Yeah, people are charging all sorts of crap. And we said, it's the fear of missing out that gets a lot of people, because they're like, oh, I haven't had it. I hear everybody talking about it, and I have to have
it.
The
Buffalo Trace line is very susceptible to that, a la Colonel E.H. Taylor.
Sure. Well, with Taylor or with, you know, Eagle Rare or whatever.
Or even standard Buffalo Trace for a while there.
Yeah, for a while. And then, you know, a lot, just to see these at retail is really hard. Although, like I said, at least here in Georgetown, it's getting better. But when I worked at the store up in Dallas, you know, small mom and pops would get like a case of this, and they'd put it behind their counter, and, you know, it said $200. And then people, you know, nobody would buy it, so people like me would walk in there and be like, you're out of your mind. But they're banking on the one guy or gal that comes in and is like, I have to try it. I have to have it. You want $200 for it?
So
fine. Here's $200 for it, right? And they're like, cool, sweet. And I got 5 more. And then, you know, they're banking that somebody, because there's always going to be that one person that'll overpay. Mm-hmm. And I've always...
In the gaming industry, they call that whales.
Okay, yeah.
Who sink a lot of money.
Right. That I always told people, I'm like, don't pay over retail for it. It will be back out on the shelves. You will, at some point, be able to find it. Like I said, the fact that we're seeing it here in Georgetown is pretty cool. So it makes me feel better about the industry, that stuff's actually coming out. But yeah, give it a shot if you haven't had it. If you can find it, don't pay over retail. That's the only thing I ask people. Just don't pay over retail.
Truth.